Large print copy, for PDF or alternative formats, please contact us on capture.art@gmail.com. Front cover image description, Capture Art Writing and Stuff, Vol. the 1st of October, 2025. Title, Accessibility in the Arts. A blue bench with white text reads, "I need more time. Rest here if you agree." Image from V&A Design and Disability Exhibition. Image credit Beth Primrose. Amy Iona, Cotham, scan from medium format film. At amyiona.photoamyiona.format.com. Image description. In the background of the portrait image are trees and uneven grassland, the foreground is sand. Various large trunks of driftwood are littered around the scene. One piece appears to be propped against another in a sculptural intervention. A note on Capture. Hello. And a huge thanks for picking up the first issue of Capture. This was born from support from the amazing lecturers at Edinburgh College's Contemporary Art Practice course. From the beautiful and inspiring writing classes led by Jenny Temple, the passion and creativity in Jen Auson's work with the ABZ, Artist's Book and Zine, collection, the wise words and gentle nurture provided by Colette Woods, and last, but certainly not least, from the quiet and unwavering support of Alan Holligan. Teaching is often a derided profession of people who have many holidays and a short working day, but, despite the cranky and authoritarian types that exist, there are those that genuinely care, who spend their own time, the researching, the emails, and the lesson planning, and effort championing students who without them, would never have believed in themselves. I want to take this time and space to celebrate them and thank all of you. You know who you are. As a publication, Capture aims to be curious, inclusive, and questioning. That's why it was so important that the theme of this first issue reflect the aims and values of the publication, and here we hope to celebrate artwork of disabled artists, but also ask the difficult questions about the art world and challenge the chasm of inequality that exists in the sector. Here we will not get it all right, but we aim to be allies and fight for a fairer world which values the beauty and talent of everyone. I personally hold my hands up. I was pretty clueless about accessibility in the arts when I first started out my journey. I then studied with another student who is a wheelchair user and realized what a shit show it was. As someone who has worked in schools providing education for young people with additional support needs for nearly 20 years, this realization felt pretty shameful. Like many of us trying to forge a career, I had my head down and was trying to make work and opportunities for myself. But after becoming friends with Shay, page 26, I witnessed the barriers within the arts education system and within the art world that they faced on a day-to-day basis. I also witnessed the devastating impact this had on their well-being, and it was crushing. Since then, I've tried to educate myself and hopefully be an ally. I'm still aware that I often depend on my friend to answer questions and support my journey, and that this isn't really their job or a weight they should have to bear on top of everything else they have to deal with. So, I still have a way to go. We all have a massive way to go. It's been a journey to some dark places, recognizing how far just our tiny wee bit of the art world needs to develop. See an open letter, page 20, and what this means for the whole of the art world, but there have been illuminating moments of joy in discovering new artists and the enthralling work they are producing. It's also been wonderful to discover some of the organizations supporting and promoting disabled artists. Here I share some of the work with you and humbly ask your forgiveness wherever I may have slipped up. Going forward, Capture will have many open calls and aims to explore marginalization and issues of inequality within the art world. If you'd like to contribute or have a proposal, please get in touch. We'd love to hear from you at capture.art@gmail.com. Under My Skin by Liv Harris. At Liv's Analoga Photos. Under My Skin investigates Liv's experience of living with chronic joint pain due to hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. Image description. Part of a horizontal white leg cuts through a black background about 2/3 of the way up the image. The leg is embossed with the word invisible. A starter for 10 on being an ally. Adapted from https://www.scope.uk/invisible-disabilities-itv/how-to-be-a-good-ally. 1. Listen to disabled people. If you're not sure, ask.
2.
Not all impairments and conditions are visible. And some change. You may not be able to see them, but they're still there.
3.
Think about your language. Don't use ableist terms and call these out when you hear them.
4.
Champion accessibility and inclusion, especially at work. Ask what access needs someone might have, like receiving presentations before a meeting.
5.
Educate yourself. Read and learn about the advantages and benefits you experience as a non-disabled person and how to champion disabled people's rights.
6.
Speak out. If you see or hear bullying or discrimination, speak up or report it.
7.
Don't push. If someone says they can't do something or aren't feeling up to it, even if they look okay, don't put them under pressure to change their mind.
8.
Never assume someone is exaggerating or faking it. Just because you can't see someone's condition doesn't mean that it doesn't exist.
9.
It's okay to ask questions, but remember to ask something you'd be happy to answer yourself. And ask first. Your pal may have already had 20 questions that day pertaining to their disability, and quite frankly, who needs that?
10.
Everyone is different. Not every disabled person will have the same views and prefer. Eleanor Buffum, Burridge Pod, Cyanotype, at Eleanor Buffum. At Eleanor Buffum. https://eleanorbuffum.uk. ID, extreme close-up of dark blue and white cyanotype. The teardrop-shaped seed pod has dark and light leaves and has spikes protruding from it. Image description, a blue map of central Edinburgh with markers signifying art spaces in the city. A panel on the left lists the art spaces. There is also a QR code to help access the interactive map. The URL for the map is https://www.mapsat.data=mbmmsnmkctqtxllls_jbu thus equals and entry equals t2 and g_ep equals ego emdimdkmswic This interactive map was created in an effort to support disabled people in finding accessible art spaces. It is a work in progress, and we are keen for people to collaborate with Capture to highlight any inaccuracies or for people to add to the map across the country and beyond. It was also compiled to put pressure on galleries who are lagging behind in the inclusion they offer our community. Below is an open letter to galleries that we have found offer poor accessibility in Edinburgh. I invite you to use this letter and send it to your local gallery if it isn't meeting the needs of everyone. I implore you to adapt and cannibalize it and send it to your local MP to put pressure on them to get behind this cause. We must highlight that fantastic work is already being done by disabled people, their families, and friends in collating access reviews on Ewan's Guide. Please, check it out and support the amazing strides they are making in access equity. If galleries and art spaces won't, or can't make the changes necessary, we, as artists, can apply pressure and insist on change. We can show solidarity by choosing accessible spaces to show our work and for workshops. Community centers, almost always, have accessible rooms and toilets and have the added bonus of being cheaper than most commercial spaces. We can show our work in the street, which is not only more accessible but more democratic and will reach a wider audience. There's so much that can be done with a little creativity and flexibility to be an ally, and I hope the next time you see or show artworks you might consider how everyone can access it. An open letter on accessibility in the arts. Dear gallery owner, I recently contacted your gallery regarding a small research project gathering information on how accessible galleries are in Edinburgh. The project has resulted in an interactive map ranking galleries as red, amber, or green according to standard of accessibility provided. Unfortunately, your space has been categorized as amber or red on the map, meaning it is either fully or partially inaccessible to disabled people. I'm here to implore you to consider your accessibility and highlight how you can and must do better. Whilst most institutional galleries in Edinburgh offer physical accessibility and support for the blind, visually impaired, deaf, and are now making events more friendly for neurodiverse people, when we step out of the handful of publicly funded institutions, accessibility, and attitudes towards it often narrow significantly. With approximately 1 in 4 Scottish people reporting a disability, we are potentially excluding 25% of the population from cultural spaces, enrichment, and engagement. Think of the talent and ideas that are being excluded. Also consider this: any one of our partners, parents, or children could become disabled tomorrow. When we view this through a personal lens, wouldn't we move mountains to make sure our loved ones would not experience isolation and/or exclusion? But because it isn't us, we are in danger of conceding that pain, cruelty, and ableism are acceptable. Whilst many people cite the historical nature of Edinburgh as the problem in making spaces accessible, perhaps, we can look to the fact that the Colosseum in Rome is accessible. So, if we can do that, we surely can do anything, right? The UK art market is also worth £9.7 billion and is one of the largest in the world. https://www.dacs.uk/news-events/artists-earnings-report-2024. So there's the money to make a change, it's just the will that is missing. While we recognise the restrictions of legislation, primarily Planning, Scotland Act, 1997, much can still be done to improve the current situation, and primarily, art spaces could choose accommodation which avoids these restrictions. It is not only the physical accessibility of the buildings that might be considered. For example, how might the blind or visually impaired access the work, or someone with a hearing impairment? Simply printing out copies of exhibition texts and signage in 24 points and 36 points Arial and making it available on your website as a PDF so it can be accessed by screen reading software is a really effective way to be inclusive. This will also help people with dyslexia access your work. Taking time to create an audio file and linking this with a QR code is another really useful way you can support accessibility. Captioning videos with free subtitle software and considering a BSL interpreter for online and in-person events, as well as sharing on your website that guide dogs are welcome in your space, goes a long way to welcoming those who have a hearing impairment. You can support people who are neurodiverse by offering a low-light, quiet session which could be booked through Eventbrite of Citizen Tickets to control numbers. As a starting point, we would suggest you carry out an accessibility audit for your organization as soon as possible and develop an accessibility statement that is clearly visible on your website and can be developed as your accessibility improves. This will admittedly all take a little extra time on top of what is already a time-consuming business, but are small acts in an effort to include a quarter of our community. These are small acts of humanity which will have a significant impact on the lives of our friends. Sending with hope and compassion. Capture Arts Magazine. A Blether with Shay Morgan by Lauren McKay. I'd be happy as long as I'm getting to use my art to make noise about things. Shay Morgan, at She Morgan Art, at Concrete Block Gallery during their solo show Indigo. Image credit Andrew J. Brooks. ID. A person in a black dress and denim jacket sits in their wheelchair in a breeze block garage. Artifacts and artworks are presented around them. There is a QR code to scan and listen to the interview. The URL is https://u2be/elmud175r9q. Ones to watch. Andrew Gannon. Image description. The image shows a sculpture of hollow conical shapes protruding in all directions. These are created from casts of the artist's limb difference. The sculpture is sprayed with sporadic patches of neon pink, orange and yellow paint. Andrew is an inspiring, Edinburgh-based artist whose work bridges sculpture and performance. He was recently awarded a grant from the Henry Moore Foundation. He said, "It comes at a time when I am working towards an exhibition, We Contain Multitudes, at Dundee Contemporary Arts. The project aims to create systemic change in the visual arts sector in Scotland, tackling ableism in the sector and imagining a future in which disabled artists have increased access to opportunities, are visible, and their expertise and experiences are truly valued." Ones to watch. Ray Lanzarotti. Lanzarotti is an access artist who uses disability access tools artistically. They make multimodal memoir comics and zines, tactile art books, and sculptural assemblages to stretch visual media into tactual, audible, and other vivid dimensions. When sudden vision loss changed how they read, Ray started making graphic medicine on topics like seeing double, aging, queerness, and community. https://www.rlanzarotti.com/about. Ray Lanzarotti, Embodied, a Memoir Comic, 2023. ID, Braille and Print Verbs, in black, form a band around an art book. A small illustration peeks out under the band, but the image is unclear. Other arty stuff to see and do. Support. Project Ability. https://www.project-ability.co.uk. Based in Glasgow, this arts charity and gallery have supported and built an arts community for people with learning disabilities and mental ill health for over 20 years. Join Disability Arts Online, a UK-based charitable arts organisation led by disabled people. They run the Artists Directory for artists and creatives who identify as disabled, deaf, neurodivergent, and/or living with a long-term health condition. Read. Inclusion, https://www.inclusionguide.org. In their own words, a kick-ass guide to making literature events accessible to disabled people. C. We Contain Multitudes, Saturday the 7th of February, 11 o'clock. Sunday the 26th of April, 2026, 6 p.m. Dundee Contemporary Arts. C. Out of Sight Out of Mind, the 22nd of October, the 9th of November, 25. Launch, Tuesday the 21st of October, 6 to 8 p.m, booking required. Summer Hall, Edinburgh, admission, free. Image description, a poster advertising Out of Sight Out of Mind, Comfort and Disturb exhibition. The title of the show is written in orange diagonally placed over a multicolored abstract painting. It includes text reading, an exhibition of art made by people with experience of mental health issues. 22 October the 9th of November, 2025. Wednesday through Sunday, 11 a.m. to 6 p.m, Summer Hall, Edinburgh, free. The exhibition presents a wide variety of themes. Some may be affecting, thought-provoking, everyday and/or awesome. www.outofsightoutofmind.scot. The logos for the following are placed along the bottom of the poster. CAPS Independent Advocacy. Thrive Edinburgh. Summer Hall Arts. People's Postcode Lottery. People's Postcode Trust. Edinburgh Health and Social Care Partnership. Mental Health Foundation. Scottish Mental Health Festival. CIR Regular BY Grant Glennie. The 20th of September, 2025 to the 1st of November, 2025. Reception, the 20th of October, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Project Ability admission, free. Watch. Palestine Comedy Club, documentary. Saturday the 8th of November, 2025, Centre for Contemporary Arts, Glasgow. Admission, pay what you can, £10, £7, £4 free. Check out Stills School, part of Stills, Centre for Photography in Edinburgh. An alternative photography school for 16 to 25-year-olds who face barriers to accessing the arts. The school is free of charge. All materials and equipment are provided, and they can cover travel. Listen. The White Pube, podcast. https://thewhitepub.co.uk/podcasts. Read. Her need to make is off the scale. Why Nina Carlu's Turner Prize nomination is a watershed moment for art. The Guardian, 2025. https://www.theguardian.com/art and design/may/2025/Nina-Callas-Turner-prize-watershed-Glasgow. Romana Docherty, 2020 isn't the only time I'm at risk. 2025. romanadoc7@icloud.com. ID. A portrait drawn in green biro shows a young woman in glasses wearing a face mask. Around the top of the girl's head are the words from the title written in green marker pen. Jody Harris Walker, The Spectrum of Humanity, 2025 at harris.walker.art. ID. A figure, created with bold sweeping marks, in a variety of colors, fills the page on a black background. The facial features, in non-traditional colors, sit at irregular places on the oversized head. Energetic blue-white squiggles radiate from the figure. Under My Skin by Liv Harris at Livsanaloga Photos. ID. A photo montage of a thigh and a knee. In black and white, joined on an angle with a short length of silver chain. Check out audio and large print copy. Plus more art shenanigans at Instagram Contemporary Artetk. Email capture.art@gmail.com. Website https://contemporaryartetcetera.com/blog